Whoa, hold it. Well, it says I'm live, but it wouldn't play my intro for some reason. Okay, so we're live with no intro. Let's pull it up on my phone. Okay. I need to hit the thumbs up. Okay, so we're here. We're live. Today we're going to talk about, let me come up on screen. There. How's that? Okay, so today we are going to talk about the 9 most anticipated trials of 2026 for Court TV. So let's pull the, let's see. I'm using a new platform. I'm still on StreamYard, but I moved over to Google Chrome instead of Microsoft Edge. And hi, H. Davis. How are you doing, sweetie? Did you have a good New Year? So anyway, I'm on Chrome instead of Microsoft Edge, and I do not like it because it doesn't want to. I'm great, thank you. It doesn't want to listen to what my DaVinci has to say. So I had to re-download all my music, and now I can't see my music in DaVinci. You had to work, but you're well. So is it nap time? We're going to be changing our live times. We're going to have to go live either before 8 o'clock in the morning or after 9 o'clock at night. So I don't know. You'll probably be in bed after 9 o'clock, and you probably will be already at work before we go, if we go early in the morning. So I'm thinking we're going to have to go 9 o'clock at night because my other Amanda Panda is starting a new job, and it's a daytime job, a 9 to 5 job. And oh, okay. So I'm trying to figure out how to work my schedule around her. And I'm sure she'll be here when she can. And you, just like you're here when you can be, and I appreciate that. Okay, so we're talking about the 9 must-follow cases for 2026, according to Court TV. When I figure out how to get my StreamYard on Microsoft Chrome or Google Chrome or whatever you call it to work with my DaVinci, all will be well with the world. But for right now, I don't know. All right. Well, maybe I could build my DaVinci on the other platform and then see if it'll work here. Hey! Anyway, I'm still trying to figure out the whole Google Chrome thing. I know it's an old program, but it doesn't work well with StreamYard. It's slow as a Christmas tree. Okay, so let's jump into, we only have one page to share. Oh, come on. Don't tell me. Got it. Ha ha. I don't like it. All right. Anyway, okay. From red rum conspiracies to accused unalivers, spouses, Court TV is bringing viewers inside the courtroom for the most high-profile trials across the country. Here's a look at some of the cases it is anticipating for 2026. I haven't done that all day. Okay. Georgia versus Sarah Grace Patrick. Sarah Grace Patrick, 17, charged with 2 counts of red rum and 2 counts of aggravated assault in the unalivings of her mother, Christian Brock, and stepfather, James Brock. The couple was fatally banged in their home on February 20th of 2025. Prosecutors say Patrick unalived both victims and allowed her younger sister to find the bodies before calling 911. Patrick's trial is scheduled to begin in January. So let's see what this has to say.
I'm Vinny Politan. The subject of my investigation is the murder of a mom and stepdad who were asleep in their home in a very quiet neighborhood when they were shot to death. Now police believe the murderer lived in the house. The teenage daughter.
Hey, why can they use those words on YouTube, but we can't use those words on YouTube? I don't understand. Let's see if my music that I just downloaded will play.
I got myself into a world full of trouble. I've been losing my head, losing the battle.
Oh.
Got myself into a world full of trouble.
Here's the story. Sarah Grace Patrick, age 17, is charged with the February 20th, 2025 murders of her mother, Kristen Brock, and her stepfather, James Brock, in their Carroll County, Georgia home. Their bodies were discovered in bed by her younger sister shortly after Sarah called 911. Investigators say they uncovered mountains of physical and digital evidence, leading them to arrest her as an adult. Sarah turned herself in July and has been held without bond. Supporters describe her as faithful, kind, and deeply distraught, demanding proof beyond just the online clues. As the case proceeds towards trial in early 2026, the community waits and wonders, is Sarah Grace a grieving daughter or something far darker? So these days, when you have a case involving someone, in this case a defendant who is 17 years old, one place that you look to try to understand what's going on in their life and who they are and what they're about is social media. And in this case, Sarah Grace Patrick, was active on social media. But it's really the tale of two different stories. I want to start by showing you some of the posts that she was doing before the murder of her mother and her stepfather. We begin on Instagram, and we take a look at this one with the caption, "Working on myself," the lips emoji. And this is one of those glamour shots, right? These are very, very common. Young men and young women posting them all the time. You get a lot of attention from it. You use some filters. You end up looking a little different, a little bit older than you actually are in this photo, if you've seen her in court. But that was one post. Here's the second post. Again, these are all before the murders. Mind over matter. Mind over matter. And again, somewhat glamorous, but here you have a little bit more of a casual type of pose inside a vehicle. Here's another one. Can't be bothered. And all of these, I mean, what we're hearing, like this stuff is extremely common. Extremely common. But this, again, another one of those glamour shots. You've got great lighting. Everything is framed properly. She's dressed up, again, appearing a little bit older than she does when she's inside of the courtroom. Let's take a look at one more from the before batch that we have for you tonight. And this one says, just sit back and watch. Okay. Again, pretty standard stuff. Go online, you will see thousands and thousands and thousands of teenagers doing exactly what Sarah Patrick was doing before the murders. Now, afterwards, she's on TikTok. And things are a little different. A very vulnerable moment, right? The caption of this one, please send prayers for healing and for a break from everything. I'm so tired. I should probably delete later. This is a whole different version of Sarah Patrick that we're seeing. And her mother's dead. Her mother's shot in the house. She's in the house when it happens. The question is, did she or did she not do it? Stepfather also shot to death. Let's take a look at another one. This one, life's hard, but at least I have my mom. Now, we don't know the exact date of this one, but it could be before, but it's more likely afterwards. Life's hard, but at least I have my mom. Let's look at another one. It hasn't hit me yet that they're actually gone yet. It's public grieving, but again, you know, not every teenager has a situation like this, but again, go online, you will see teenagers do this, be very public with their emotions and what they're thinking. Let's take a look at the next one. This one, I know how it feels to have people saying the worst lies about you at your worst. And obviously this is after the murders, and there are rumblings, and there are, you know, rumors and people pointing fingers. And let's go to the last one from TikTok that we have. A caption on another TikTok, I'll never forget her last time speaking to me. She came in my room when I was in bed watching a show. And she told me good night in a deep voice, acting silly. I should have hugged her. So these are some of the after posts that Sarah Patrick put up there. Now, what else do we know about Sarah Patrick? Take a look at this, folks. This is from a motion filed by Sarah Grace Patrick's attorney. A motion in limine. Motion in limine is, we don't want this information in front of the jury. What do they not want in front of the jury? All comments relating to the defendant texting or having sex with other guys, or any reference to the defendant's alleged sexual behavior or promiscuity. All videos, posts, or pictures depicting or alluding to the sexual behavior of the defendant. All comments relating to the defendant's illicit drug use or hiding of drugs or drug paraphernalia. This is what the defense wants to keep out. So it seems that they are perhaps conceding that some of this evidence exists, right? You don't file a motion to preclude stuff if it doesn't exist. You usually don't. Brings us to the first question in our investigation tonight, an important one. Did social media play a role in what happened? I'm also interested, though, in this information from this motion to eliminate. Let's bring in our guests. Joining me, true crime podcaster from Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi. Tony Bruschi's with us. And Georgia criminal defense attorney John Luke Weaver. Great to have you both here. This first question I want to look at from a couple different angles, though, because there's the social media aspect of it, but there's also the defense wanting to limit any evidence of alleged sexual promiscuity and drugs. What role could sex or drugs have played in all of this? Tony Bruschi, I'll begin with you.
What role could it play? It could sway a jury one way or another with their assumption.
Okay, we'll look into that more. I want to go on because we got 9 cases to cover. Hello to all 3 people here. Maybe it's just me and Amanda Panda and H. Davis, but I have wonderful moderators. All right, and then the next one is Virginia versus. Right. We'll go into each case more before they actually go to court. But I just want to show. This is an email I got from Court TV this morning. This is my actual email. VA versus Brendan Banfield. Brendan Banfield is charged with the unalivings of his wife, Christine Banfield, and Joseph Ryan. Christine and Ryan were fatally impaled in the Banfield, Virginia home on February 24th, 2023. Investigators have said the Red Rums were part of a larger scheme between Brendan and Juliana Perez Magalhaes, who were having an affair. Magalhaes was hired as an au pair for the Banfield family. On the day of the unalivings, Magalhaes called 911 at least 3 times, hanging up twice before reporting the emergency on the 3rd call. Brendan had spoke into the phone and said he had puppered a man because that man stabbed his wife. Reported the Associated Press. In 2024, Magalhaes pled guilty to manslaughter in Ryan's unaliving. Brendan's trial is scheduled for January. So we're going to be busy. Let's see what this has to say.
I'm Vinny Politan. The subject of my investigation is a case in an alleged murder plot filled with sex, deception,
I should have queued all these up, but I didn't. I'm sorry. I didn't even think about it.
BDSM, and extreme violence. A plan so twisted you might wonder how anyone could even think it up and target the mother of your own 4-year-old child. Here's the story. In Herndon, Virginia, a shadow conspiracy lurks behind a manicured suburban facade. Brendan Banfield, a former IRS investigator, is accused of orchestrating a chilling double murder of a man named Joseph Ryan and his own wife, Christine Banfield. Prosecutors allege he lured Joseph Ryan to his home early in the morning to make him appear as an intruder, coming to kill Christine with a knife. Banfield allegedly shot Ryan, then stabbed his wife with help from his lover, the family au pair, Juliana Magalhaes. Juliana was the first to be arrested and charged in the case, but then she admitted her guilt and will be the star witness in the case against the husband, Brendan Banfield, who claims his innocence. What is the truth? Who killed who? And why did they do it? That will be up to a Virginia jury to decide. And that Virginia jury will begin hearing evidence this month. Okay. This case, bizarre, twisted, and the question is, what is the truth and what is happening here? So there's a lot of layers to peel back. Let's bring in Court TV field reporter Cody Thomas, who's going to take us through the timeline here. Cody, what do we know about how all of this played out the morning that Joseph Ryan and Christine Banfield were killed?
Well, yeah, Benny, by all accounts, it seemed like a normal morning in February of 2023, but there are some details that come across a little bit suspicious. Now, these details that I'm about to share with you, of course, were obtained by the Washington Post, and they reference what the au pair herself, Juliana Magalhaes, told investigators. So we'll begin with the timeline of Brendan Banfield. that again, every home, Brendan the au pair and Christine, his wife. February 24th, 2023 at 7:10 a.m., Brendan leaves for McDonald's. Now, according to the au pair, he goes to the McDonald's and sits in the parking lot, doesn't go in, doesn't order food. He's just sitting there in his vehicle. 20 minutes later, 7:30 a.m., Brendan is expected to be at work. He's an IRS agent. 7:37 a.m., Juliana calls Brendan. So, Brendan, let's look at a map of these locations. His work, the McDonald's, the home. The Banfield home, again, is in Herndon, Virginia. The closest McDonald's to the home is about an 8-minute drive away, so not too far. And where he works at the big IRS building in D.C., based on traffic, that's about a 30 minutes to an hour drive. So that's kind of the juxtaposition of these three locations. All right, now let's turn to the timeline of Juliana and Brendan's 4-year-old daughter. Now, she and Brendan's daughter leave soon after he does, a little bit after 7 o'clock in the morning. They were headed for the zoo. Now, the au pair, Juliana, claims she drove back because she forgot their lunches, and that's when she says she saw Joseph Ryan walk into the house. And remember, Christine Banfield is still upstairs asleep in the bedroom. All right, let's look at a map of the house compared to the zoo. Again, the house is in Herndon, Virginia. The zoo they were headed to is the Smithsonian National Zoo in D.C., kind of the big zoo in Washington, D.C. Now, the zoo currently opens at 8 o'clock in the morning, so leaving a little after 7 a.m. isn't too crazy in regards to her story about heading to the zoo. All right, we're gonna go back to the timeline here about once Brendan arrives at the home and going inside the house. Now, again, this is what the au pair told investigators, as according to the Washington Post. Brendan returns and goes inside first. Then Juliana goes inside and takes the daughter, the 4-year-old daughter, to the basement. Juliana then follows Brendan upstairs, where again, Christine was inside, asleep in the bedroom this entire time. Now, here comes the kicker, Benny. This is the timeline of the 911 calls. 7:47 in the morning, the first 911 call happens. So this is 10 minutes after she calls Brendan when he was at the McDonald's. Dispatchers, the Washington Post quotes, dispatchers heard a guttural moan, then silence. A minute later, 7:48 in the morning, 2 more 911 calls within seconds of each other. Now, here comes the kicker, Benny. This is about 15 minutes after the first 911 call. 8:02 a.m., that's the final 911 call, and the Post quotes, Magalhaes begged for help, frightened as she described the scene, seemingly too flustered to give an address. Then another voice came onto the phone, Brendan Banfield. And of course, minutes later, officers arrive, seeing that gruesome scene, Benny.
So I just want to make sure that we're clear on this. Cody, it's 15 minutes between 911 calls?
So there's 3 calls. The first one's made at 7:47. That's the first call. It just lasts a couple seconds. 2 more within seconds of each other are made at 7:48. So that's 3 total, then 15 minutes before the final 911 call. So we don't know what was going on in those 15 minutes, but that's the final one that came at 8:02 in the morning.
Those 15 minutes are crucial.
Absolutely.
Absolutely crucial. Cody's going to stick around. This is unbelievable. You start putting this whole morning together. Brings us to the first question in our investigation. Does this timeline make sense, right? And you can approach this from a couple different ways. For prosecutors, does it make sense? And for the defense, does it make sense, right? The defense saying he's innocent, that he just happened to come upon this guy who was breaking into the house.
Okay. Now we'll go to the next one. That one looks like it's going to be a he said, she said case, but I'm interested to watch it. Utah versus Corey Richards. Corey Richards faces a number of charges, including red drum and the unaliving of her husband, Eric Richards. Eric was unalived in 2022 by a lethal dose of fentanyl, which prosecutors say Corey put into his drink to unalive him and cash in on his life insurance. After Eric's unaliving, Corey wrote a children's book about grief. Her red rum trial is scheduled to begin in February. Again, I failed to.
else was happening. Family members say Eric suspected his wife of trying to kill him, giving him food and drinks laced with poison. Eric got so suspicious that he changed his life insurance and his will to give his money to his sister, who he trusted to take care of the kids. Now prosecutors say Eric was right. He died in March of 2022, a victim of fentanyl poisoning. Then, after his death, Corey wrote a book for her children to help them deal with the loss of their father. And just after the release of that book, Corey was arrested and charged with the murder of Eric.
This is a case.
She's one cold-hearted biatch.
Case that you look at, there's going to be some questions about the motive on why Corey Richins would allegedly do this, and then questions about how she allegedly did this. This is not a clear-cut case. Obviously, prosecutors believe they have the evidence to prove it, but this is going to be a hotly contested, hard-fought case. Let's bring in Court TV field reporter Cody Thomas, who joins us tonight. Let's talk about the evidence. We've got to start with the evidence, right? What is the evidence that prosecutors say they have against Corey Richins?
Well, Vinny, prosecutors say that Corey poisoned her husband Eric by slipping him 5 times the lethal dose of fentanyl in that cocktail that she made for him back in March of 2022. Now, as you said, when we talk about evidence, we got to start with motive, and prosecutors believe that this motive was financially based. Now, they believe also that Corey began plotting Eric's murder in January of that year, 2022. That's when she tried to change his life insurance policy. The prosecutors also say she bought 4 life insurance policies in her husband's name without his knowledge from the years 2015 to 2017, with the benefits totaling to around $2 million, Vinny. Now, Eric alerted his family, telling them he believed someone was trying to kill him during this time. And he also went as far as saying, Vinny, he told them if anything were to happen to him, detectives should look at Corey, his own wife. Those are his words, I should say. Now, investigators say part of Corey's motive, of course, was financial, and that she, quote, mistakenly believed she would inherit Eric Richins' estate. Now, prosecutors say Eric found out that Corey had made these major financial moves without his knowledge, including spending a total of more than $350,000 as she pursued this career in real estate, which was really her trying to flip houses. Now, Vinny, we move from motive to opportunity. Now, the state's key witness in this case is Richins' housekeeper, this woman named Carmen Lauder. Now, she has told investigators that she's the one who sold the lethal fentanyl to Richins back in 2022, a total of 3 times, Vinny. Now, in exchange for that information, Ms. Carmen got immunity in this case. But let's take a listen to investigators and prosecutors explain how they believe Corey Richins carried out this plan, and also their claims of a prior plan to kill Eric that didn't really go through. Let's take a listen.
She stated that the last time that she saw Eric alive was between 9:30 and 9:45 p.m. She stated that before going to bed, they had a drink together to celebrate closing on a house for her business, and one of the children had a nightmare, and that the defendant got out of bed and went to be with that child in their bedroom around 3 a.m. when she woke. She stated she returned to her own bedroom, got into bed, and felt that Eric was cold to the touch. Based on the interviews that we conducted with those who knew Eric well, all stated that he did not use illicit drugs other than consuming THC gummies on occasion.
The defendant learned from the attempt and applied it to the homicide. And we see that with what the court just raised. She wanted something stronger. She learned that whatever she used on Valentine's Day wasn't strong enough, which is why she went back and asked for something stronger. But she had a similar MO, right? You know, her MO is to go to the drug dealer, procure fentanyl, and 2 or 3 days later, 4 days later, administer the fentanyl. That is the same. The drug is the same. The drug dealer is the same. The timing is the same. But
Amanda Panda says, well, dang. Don't get any ideas. I'm playing. I know you wouldn't do that. I can't believe a woman would do that to her husband. All I gotta do is figure out how to make an accident in a semi look like an accident. No. I'd rather have my husband than anything I gained from him passing away. Who else is gonna fix my computers?
she learned. She learned she needed something stronger. She also learned how to administer it. She learned that putting it in a sandwich where Eric Richards could take a bite, feel the effects, set the sandwich down, was not the proper way to administer a fatal dose of fentanyl. Instead, she administered it with a lemon shot, where Eric Richards would throw it back all at once. She says that in her journal article, her journal note at Exhibit 49. And she learns that it takes a truckload of fentanyl to kill him. She learns that one bite in a sandwich isn't enough. It has to be stronger, it has to be administered once, and it has to be...
I thought, now correct me if I'm wrong, isn't that one of the rugs that all it takes is a whiff of air and you can get an OD on it and die? It must have been way. You look like it. Then how can him taking a bite in a sandwich not unalive him? And how can she think it takes a truckload? What's a truckload? More than this amount right here on the end of here? No, I don't see. Wow.
A lot.
So, Vinny, you hear the prosecutors making these claims that she learned from a previous attempt, learned that it wasn't strong enough in this sandwich to put it in a shot or in a cocktail. Seems like the evidence is a little bit stacked against her, considering they said this came from one of her journal entries.
Yeah, this is one of those cases where, you look at it and say, okay, yeah, the evidence is there. How does it play inside of a courtroom? How does it play in front of a jury? All right, Cody's going to stick around. That brings us to the first question in our investigation. It's about the evidence. How strong is the evidence against Corey Richards? When you talk about the evidence of motive, the evidence of cause, manner of death. Let's bring in our guest who's going to help us answer that question. Former homicide detective, host of The Interview Room with Chris McDonough. Our friend Chris McDonough is with us, and attorney Greg Skordas, who represents...
All right, now we'll go on to the next case. These seem like they're going to be some pretty interesting cases to follow. New Mexico versus Isaac Apodaca. Isaac Apodaca. Sometimes I wonder if those are people that think that they should be institutionalized for the rest of their life, and they know they shouldn't be out on the streets. And that's why they do things to get themselves caught. Like, who writes about it in their journal? You've got a point. That is... I don't keep a journal. Not very many people do keep. I know my mom kept a journal when my oldest son was little, but I only read 2 pages of it. But Why would you write something like that? You want, like you said, they want to be caught. They want to be caught. Okay. Isaac Apodaca is charged with coercion after his girlfriend, Kira McCulley, and if new institutionalized yourself, that costs me. You've got a point. You've got a point. Yeah. But if you do something that gets you locked away for life, taxpayers pay it. And all you got to do is figure out how you're going to pay restitution while you're locked away. That makes so much sense. So much sense. Okay. He was charged with coercion after his girlfriend, Kara McCulley, read from Grace Jennings with a sword at their home in October 2022. Both McCulley and Apodaca claimed they had previously been in a relationship with Jennings before dating each other. Okay? The investigation uncovered text messages that allegedly show the couples conspiring to unalive Jennings. McCulley pleaded guilty to second-degree red rum charges in exchange for testifying in Apodaca's trial, which is scheduled to begin in February. Okay, so I'm going to do this with you because I know all I got to do is get off scot-free and get my name cleared by agreeing to testify against you. Says toxic jealousy case in Apodaca's case. Benny Politan investigates. See about this one. There it goes.
I'm Benny Politan. The subject of my investigation is the murder of 21-year-old Grace Jennings. The accused killers, her two lovers. The weapon, a sword. Here's the story.
A beautiful young woman, a twisted love triangle, and an interrogation that revealed chilling words. In Santa Fe, 21-year-old Grace Jennings was found dead beside a blood-soaked sword. Police say Isaac Apodaca and Kiara McCulley lured her to the home. And during questioning, Kiara allegedly told detectives Isaac wanted her gone. Investigators say Isaac calmly denied everything, insisting he never touched Grace. Yet text messages and his statements paint a darker story of jealousy and control. Prosecutors claim Isaac manipulated Kiara into murder. Tonight, the question haunts everyone. Was this madness, manipulation, or murder by design?
Now, through the years here at Court TV, I've covered a lot of love triangles that have turned into murder cases. I've never seen a love triangle quite like the one in this case. It's different. The dynamics are much different. Let's bring in Court TV field reporter Cody Thomas, who's been taking a closer look at all this. So Cody, what do we know, and how would you describe this love triangle?
Well, Vinny, this is one of the most non-traditional, unorthodox romantic situations that anyone could conjure up, right?
She said, oh, this one. he bought the permission for her. Oh, so you know a little bit about this one. I had never heard about it until today.
These are 3 people, one of which is now deceased, but all 3 of them had a dating history together at different points in time. But just for our viewers' sake, Vinny, I want to walk through all of this slowly with the visual that you can see on the screen right now so people can understand what's happening. So we'll start with the accused killer couple. That is Isaac Apodaca and Kiera McCulley. Now, they say they were on again, off again.
Amanda says, oh, this one is sick. And not in a good way?
And they were both living in the garage of Kiera's mother's house, which is where this killing happened. Here's what these 2 told police about their relationship with each other.
He had mental problems and he manipulated. Oh! Oh! What's her name? Who was the girl? I can't eat. Her name slips my mind. Rose. Something Rose. He ran away and called his mommy. Gypsy Rose. That's the one where she manipulated her boyfriend into doing something and then he took the fall for it. This is just the reverse. He manipulated his girlfriend into doing something. Okay. Okay. And then called his mommy.
And how long have you been in a relationship with Kiara?
3 years. And 3 years, 10 months.
Who is Isaac?
He's my ex-fiance / friend, confusing as hell.
Ex-fiance?
Yeah.
How so?
We were engaged for 3 years. And we broke up in April this year, and it was because he was a eat. And I forgave his and let him move back in with me.
Fiance, boyfriend, not a fiance. Just a very confusing situation, as she said in that interview there, Vinny. But let's take it back to our diagram to further the conversation here. So now we get to Isaac and the victim, Grace. Now, before Isaac and Kiera got together, he had dated the victim, Grace, and she was underage at the time. Take a listen to this.
How long ago did you meet Grace?
That was 2018.
You guys were hanging out as friends. Did you guys ever date?
We did date.
Did date?
It was when she was 16, I was 20.
Okay.
I committed a crime there, but...
Well, I appreciate your honesty. Okay, you guys dated for a while, and then you lost contact. So this period of losing contact, would it be safe to call that a breakup, or what was that?
It was a breakup.
So he was 20, Vinny, she was 16, a little bit of an age gap there with her being underage. All right, back to our diagram, because I want to make sure people are still keeping up here. Now we get to Kiera and Grace. Now, going back even further, Kiera, the admitted killer here, says she and Grace dated when they were both around the ages of 14.
You see her shirt? She can't be this kind of person that's going to do what happens to this lady. And like Jack Skellington, she can't do it.
Or 15. Here's what she told police. Take a listen.
Part of me hates her guts. It wants to see her dead. The other part wants to see her get better and see if she can admit it. Just fix it.
How long did you guys date for?
I don't remember how long it was.
Years? Months?
Probably months.
Months? Less than a year?
think so.
How long ago was this? What year did you this date?
It was 2015, 2016-ish.
Now, Vinny, we heard Kiera reference admitting it, talking about Grace admitting it there in that interview. And what she's referring to is this claim that Grace played this role in an incident where Kiera claims that she was raped on police body occurred. Now, are the moments when officers responded. You'll see Grace Jennings' body is blurred. This video was posted to YouTube by the user Sergeant Pepper Spray. Now, Vinny, Isaac and Kiera explained to police that all three of them that night shared one bed, which of course prompted investigators to ask whether any one of them had any sexual relations that night. Take a listen to this.
What are the sleeping arrangements like?
We were all sharing the same bed.
You were all sharing the same bed? Yes. Was there any sexual interaction between anyone last night?
No.
No threesome or nothing like that between the three of you guys?
No. There was no threesome, there was no sex, nothing.
Was that ever on the table?
No.
Okay. Was there anything romantic going on between you and Grace?
No.
What about between Grace and your fiance? Kiara?
I don't know.
So why did Isaac want Grace there?
I had no clue what he wanted. But it was her, which, gross. Just hate gross. I've seen the kind of people she's been with.
Did you her though?
I don't think so. I'm guessing he didn't, because he said the worst 12 hours of my life. 12 hours, my house.
He didn't say anything about a threesome or anything like that.
Usually when there's people in my house, there's three-way, and I'm just like, I'm not touching her.
Yeah. You guys have had three-ways before?
Yeah, we tried. He's polyamorous, and I'm just kind of there trying and seeing if I like it.
So, Vinny, you know when you log onto Facebook and you can change your relationship status and the drop-down menu comes down and the one option there that says it's complicated? I can't think of a situation that embodies it's complicated more than this one.
Oh, you are right on. Cody, thanks so much. You can stick around. And Cody brings us to the first question in our investigation. Did this complicated relationship fuel toxic jealousy?
We'll have to find out when we delve into this case. Oh my gosh, this one seems like it's going to be a page turner. Right, Bahamas versus Lindsay Shiver. Lindsay Shiver is accused of plotting with her boyfriend, Eric Bethel, and another man from Newbold to unalive her then husband, former Auburn football player Robert Shiver. Lindsay faces charges in the Bahamas, where she and her husband had a second home, and where she allegedly began her affair with Bethel. Lindsay is expected to stand trial in March. Okay, let's see if I can. I think this is a commercial. This isn't what I wanted. Come on, go back down. Here it is. Okay. Adobe Creative Cloud is needed to resolve this problem. However, it is missing or damaged. We may lose stream.
Here's the story. From the outside, everything seemed amazing. Former beauty queen and cheerleader Lindsay Shiver married her college sweetheart, Robert Shiver.
He was a football player at Auburn and came from a family with lots of wealth. Life was good. The good-looking young couple had 3 boys and lived in a sprawling $2.5 million home in Thomasville, Georgia.
We need to move to Georgia. That's 3 times the house I had. Wait, 2.5 million. Oh, that's also 16 times more expensive than my house. Never mind, I ain't moving to Georgia.
They flew on his family's private jet and had a vacation home in the Bahamas. And that's where this story turns bad. Lindsay allegedly had an affair with a younger man who lived on the islands and worked at Grabber's Bar. Robert found out about it and filed for divorce. Things got nasty. And that's where this story turns really bad. Lindsay and her Bahamian boyfriend are accused of soliciting a hitman to kill Robert. Lindsay is now getting ready for her upcoming trial in the love triangle murder plot in Paradise.
Unbelievable story. And what a shame. You've got everything. You've literally got everything. Okay, maybe your marriage doesn't work out, but still, you still have everything until you don't. I want to go through the timeline of this case. Let's bring in Court TV field reporter Cody Thomas, who's been looking at this. This hour, we're going to spend a lot of time walking through the timeline on what happened here, because it's important to know all the communications, police calls, et cetera, that led up to this moment. Let's start with the timeline up until the point that they both file for divorce.
Yeah, Vinny, you touched on it there. This is a family that seemingly had it all. You have the football star marrying the pageant queen. They both get together and settle in southern Georgia, but clearly things were not as they seemed as their marriage started to get angry and bitter. Lindsay Shiver has this new boyfriend, but let's walk through those early months of 2023. So we have constructed this timeline here, and we start on February 18th, where Lindsay Shiver takes a weekend solo trip without her family. 2 days later, February 20th, Robert called 911, afraid that Lindsay was trying to set him up with the police. And Vinny, let's take a listen to a bit of that 911 call right now.
So, my wife just got back from out of town, and I believe that we are heading down the road of getting divorced. She just cut my cell phone off from Verizon. She called Verizon and had my cell phone disconnected. So I'm calling on my mother's phone at the Verizon store because the only way I can get it back active is if she releases it. Mm-hmm. So I have to go over to our home. And with the way that she is behaving, I feel like she might try and call the police to try to set me up as soon as I get there. And I wanted to try to get out in front of it because I'm not a risk of, doing anything crazy. I'm just trying to go to my house, and if I need to pack my stuff and leave, I can pack my stuff and leave.
So Vinny, some bitter behavior there. Clearly this marriage was not going down the most ideal path, with one spouse thinking that the other spouse is trying to, quote, set them up.
Yeah, this is really bizarre behavior. At what point do they end up filing for divorce?
They end up filing for divorce, Vinny, in April, moving forward past February when that's Robert. Then on April 6th, that's when Lindsay actually files for divorce. So 2 months after this call that we just listened to.
All right, Cody's going to be with us a whole hour. That brings us to the first question in our investigation tonight, and it's probably the most important question to get to the bottom of why this is all happening. What went wrong in their relationship? And put that question over.
All right, find that out. And we follow this case. If you see a case that you don't think we should follow, it doesn't seem like it's interesting enough, let me know, and I can take it off the list. About that did something wrong there.
For this photo, which if you saw that photo online, you'd be like, wow, what a...
Okay. California versus Larry Millette. Larry Millette is charged with red rum and illegally possessing an assault weapon when the unaliving his missing wife, 40-year-old Maya Millette. I think we covered a little bit of this one. Prosecutors have claimed that Larry unalived Maya because she was looking to divorce him. Maya, who shared 3 children with Larry, disappeared in January 21. Her body has not been found. Larry's trial is scheduled to begin in March. This might be the one I'm thinking about.
I'm Vinny Politan. The subject of my investigation, the disappearance of mother of 3, Maya Millette. It's a case involving love, jealousy, and spellcasters. Here's the story. Maya Millette was a vibrant mother of 3 who vanished from her Chula Vista home in January of 2021, just days before her daughter's birthday. Friends and family say she had been planning a family trip. Instead, her phone went silent, and her husband Larry claimed she simply left. But investigators found chilling signs of control and obsession, hundreds of messages, secret recordings, and searches for spells to make someone stay. As weeks turned to months, suspicion grew. Family members held vigils, demanding answers, while police uncovered a timeline that pointed closer to home. Nearly 2 years later, Larry Millette was arrested and charged with Maya's murder, despite her body never being found. The case now stands as a haunting symbol of love turned deadly and a family's relentless fight for truth in the face of unbearable loss. This really has been so difficult. She hasn't been found. The children without a mom. And now Dad is locked up waiting for his trial to begin. I want to play for you a secretly recorded, and Larry's her husband, Larry Millette. So here is the couple, so you get to hear some of the dynamic of what was happening in the months leading up to her disappearance.
He's been trying to court you the whole time. He's been trying. The pictures from your thing, you guys got really close together on your desk. Always right here, always together, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night. And then you start feeling stuff.
So that's enough for you to wish death on me all the time?
Oh, that's enough that, that you gradually had an affair since December, and he probably whenever he got hired or whatever, and you got close to him, oh, he's cute and all that stuff. You're probably the one that hired him. You interviewed him. You interviewed him.
I did not interview him.
You know what I mean? To get into your team or whatever.
Really? Really?
I don't know. What you guys were doing since 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night all the time, and your projects and your team projects, mentoring and all that stuff.
After all this stuff that you're accusing me of, mentoring. And this is exactly why. And then this is you said this wasn't going to happen.
No,
and it still happened. No, and then you bring it up every day.
Your thing is like
every day you do this.
It was never
every day you do this.
You always like, oh, it was the thing, but no, it was gradual. You guys, he was going for you already. He was going for you because he wasn't happy with this thing. He was going for you. You didn't even see it. He was trying to court you the whole time. You didn't even see it. You know what I'm saying? You didn't see it coming.
What's your point? I'm asking you why you would say stuff like that, and then you go there, and then you want to be together.
The part that really jumped out to me in all of that is that why you wish death on me all the time? This is a husband and a wife, a mother and a father. Is that why you wish death on me all the time? Gives us some insight into what was happening here. Brings us to the first question in our investigation tonight. Was Maya Miliete in fear for her life? Were these death threats? What was going on? Here to help answer that question is the sister of Maya Miliete, Mary Chris Juliet, is with us.
All right, that wasn't the case I thought it was. I don't think so. Okay, the next one is Lindsay Clancy is charged with red roaming her 3 young children at her home in January 2023. Prosecutors say her daughter 5 and sons 3 and 7 months with exercise bands before jumping out of a window of the family's Duxbury home. Clancy's defense has maintained that she was suffering from psychosis at the time of the red room. Her trial is scheduled for July. There's some kind of psychosis, I would say. Let's see.
Port. Here's the story.
Duxbury, Massachusetts, a quiet seaside town, was shattered by an unthinkable tragedy. Lindsay Clancy, a young nurse, devoted wife, and mother of 3, was seen as the picture of perfection. But police say behind the smiles and family photos, darkness took hold. On a cold January night, investigators say she strangled her children, Cora, Dawson, and baby Callan. All that before attempting to take her own life. Clancy's husband, Patrick, returned home to a scene of unimaginable horror. Now, the once trusted nurse faces murder charges, as her defense claims she suffered from severe postpartum psychosis. Prosecutors call it calculated. Her attorneys say it's a symptom of a mind lost to illness. Tonight, the question tears through this small town. Was Lindsay Clancy a monster or a mother broken beyond repair?
Difficult situation. Difficult trial. Difficult case. This is far from open and shut. So let's begin here. The response to the scene. You're going to hear from the prosecutor describe what they believe happened here, beginning with the husband, the father coming home, and then emergency workers responding. Take a listen.
Patrick can be heard on the 911 call entering the home and heading to the basement. At one point, he calls out, "Guys." He can then be heard screaming in agony and shock as he found his children. His screams seem to get louder and more agonized as the time passes. Cora and Callan were on the floor in the den area of the finished basement, which is to the left when you walk down the stairs, while Dawson was alone on the floor in his father's home office, which is to the right when you go down the stairs. Each child still had the exercise band that was used to strangle them tied around their necks when their father found them. Dawson and Callan were face down on the floor. Cora was on her side with her torso turned towards the floor. He removed the bands and begged them to breathe. He continued to scream uncontrollably and screamed for officers to come to the basement. The dispatchers are hearing this and they send help down to the basement. And when they encounter Patrick, he yells out, "She killed the kids."
I don't think anyone can imagine this scene. Brings us to the first question in our investigation. What happened?
Wow. Did they say that she then Scroll back up. Before jumping out of a window of the family's Duxbury home. Wow. Wow. So did she jump out the window? We're gonna have to find out about that one. Florida versus Shauna Gardner. ETAL. I don't know what that means. Shauna Gardner and Mario Fernandez Saldana are charged with the red rum of Gardner's ex-husband, Microsoft executive Jared Brightigan, I don't know, was puked down in the street shortly after dropping off the two children he shared with Gardner. At the time of the red rum, Brightigan's youngest child was strapped into a car seat in the back seat. She was not harmed. Investigators determined Brightigan was the victim of a red rum for hire, which was allegedly masterminded by Gardner and her current husband, Saldana, confessed hitman Henry Tenon previously pled guilty to his role in Brightigan's red rum and agreed to testify. Gardner and Saldana are expected to stand trial in August. All right, let's see what.
Before we head back to Arizona, some developments out of the state of Florida, where the death penalty is no longer on the table in the Microsoft executive murder trial. Prosecutors have withdrawn their intent to seek the death penalty for two of the charged suspects in this murder for hire case of Jared Brightigan's murder. Brightigan was murdered back in February of 2022 in what police say was a murder for hire orchestrated by his ex-wife, Shanna Gardner, and her second husband, Mario Fernandez. The couple is set to appear in court for a pretrial hearing the second week of December. The trial is set to go in August of next year. We'll keep you updated on more developments, but at this point, death penalty off the case there in that case in Florida.
Wow. Microsoft is so slow. Go down.
Before we head back to Arizona, some development.
There it went, finally. Virginia versus Naresh Bhatt. I think this is the one I followed. Naresh is charged with red rum and defiling the body of his wife. Mamta Kafil Bhatt, a 28-year-old pediatric nurse and mother who disappeared in July of 2024. Her body has not been found, but investigators linked her DNA to the substantial amount of red liquid found in the couple's home. Authorities previously said Naresh is scheduled to stand trial in October. This is it. This is the one that I followed a little bit of.
I'm Vinny Politan. The subject of my investigation is the disappearance of a nurse and young mother named Mamta Kafli. When a young mom disappears, suspicion often falls on the husband. And that's the case here, as her husband did not report her missing when she vanished. Here's the story.
Mamta Kafli came to the United States from her native country of Nepal in 2021. She lived in Manassas Park, Virginia, in a nice home on a nice cul-de-sac, the perfect place to start raising a family with her husband, Naresh Bhatt. Mamta worked as a pediatric nurse at Prince William Medical Center, and in August of 2023, she gave birth to a baby girl, the first child of Mamta and Naresh. Then she went back to work. Early in 2024, there were some reported marital issues for the couple, and Mamta moved out of the house for a short while before returning. Then on August 1st, when Mamta did not report to work and no one could contact her, co-workers asked for a welfare check to be done. Police went to the house, but left after speaking with Naresh. A few days later, Mamta was officially declared as an involuntarily missing person. And now her family, co-workers, and members of the community are still searching and still hoping to find Mamta.
So the timeline of this case, the way it evolves, is that police did go to speak to Naresh, and, they didn't do anything. It took a few days for a search to even begin. But eventually, he gets charged. And this happens on August 23rd of 2024. But the charge is just concealment of a dead body based upon the evidence that they uncovered by that point, right? So now you flash forward to December 2nd of 2024. Additional charges now: murder, defilement of a dead human body. Things got very serious, not quickly, but over the course of months. So that brings us to the first question in our investigation in this case. And I think it's an important one with this new development. And that question is, why do prosecutors now believe Naresh murdered Mamta? What has changed?
That looks like one that's going to be interesting. I think when we covered it, we saw he stood on the porch for like 45 minutes talking to the law enforcement officers, and they wanted him to pull something up on the phone and show them, and he kept acting like he was going to, and then he'd put the phone back in his pocket, and then they'd ask again, and he'd pull it out, and all the while he's holding this baby and using the baby as a shield. Yeah. This is on the first case. So those are the 9 cases I want to follow this year. Are there any cases that you don't think we should follow, or is there anything else that you think we should follow in between times? Because I'll be happy to look into anything I can find information on that is interesting for y'all. I want to do I want to be able to be here more. I still plan on not being here on the weekends, and I'm still doing my daily tarot, only now, thanks to our wonderful moderator, Amanda Panda. We're doing daily tarot for children and a daily tarot for adults. So it's 2 shorts that's going up every day. And except on the tarot, I'm not doing on Sundays. But I'm doing the tarot, 6 days a week, just as something fun to do and to learn the tarot, because I've always been interested in it. And hopefully to build my channel. I was hoping to be able to get to 1,000 subscribers by the new year, but right now we have 710 subscribers. So the Arkansas case, and if they found the remains of Sebastian, I want to stick with Sebastian. Mob Crew has done a lot, and I might poke into that, what he's done tomorrow, because these are the last few videos. This is 9 months ago. This is 11 days ago. And this is 19 hours ago. And this is there. They found a person that lived up the street from the P-Feets, and they had cameras that pointed across the construction site where they were building the new housing addition, and it viewed over to the cemetery that was behind the school, and you could see two cameras pointing towards that cemetery in the school. And Silver's on the scene, and Mob Crew have gotten together with some other locals, and they've been running some tests on cameras, and they got camera footage from the church that's by the cemetery. And it's really interesting what's going on there. And so we might delve into some more of the Sebastian Rogers, because it's all real important. Murder Mystery to the Paranormal, live streams, uploads, and more weekly. So anyway, oh, you couldn't even see what I was showing you. Hold on. Let me pull it up on screen and I'll show you. All right. So this was last night. 6 months of highly suspicious activity at the cemetery. This was 11 days ago. More cars discovered. And these are members' lives, but there was another 3 a.m. person, and I mean, he's really gone deep into the. And there's been more breaking information about Lily and Jack Sullivan and the Arkansas case. Send me a text reminding me of that one, because I remember doing something about an Arkansas case, but I don't remember what the outcome was. So yeah, send me a text reminding me about that one. Alrighty, well, we have been here for almost an hour and a half. I thank y'all for being here. I won't be here tomorrow, but I'll be back Monday. We couldn't tag CJ's car this morning because by the time we got to the tag office at 9:30, their line was already full for the day. So I got the email, and I'm going to have to text them Monday morning and try to get in super early Monday morning. So I'll start texting them at 7 o'clock and start trying to get in line. So because he'd like to be able to bring his car to school, you know, show off his Christmas present and everything like that. But yeah, which if I was in high school when I got my first car, I would have wanted to do the same thing. But obviously I wasn't. So, all right, do something nice for someone, even if it's be the reason they smile today, and search for crime. Love y'all. Thanks for being here. Even the people that watch later, thank you for being here.